On the card, between boredom and contentment, it says tipping point.
Yeah.
And I loved seeing that on the card, but
Well, here's the thing.
There's part of me that just doesn't want to trust it. And how can I trust that?
You can't trust it until you do it, because words don't teach. But here's the reason that we really like it that you're focused there. Are you aware of what he's talking about? On your card, you got one today, right there. It's hard to see. You got to look for it. It says a tipping point right there between boredom and contentment, because you could go either way. And the reason that that's an important thing to acknowledge is because here's how it goes. Oh, you're really going to like this. We haven't talked about this much, but it's really high time we do. We've been talking to all of you about this. Sometimes we talk about the emotional scale this way. Sometimes we talk about it this way. You know what you don't want. You know what you do want. It doesn't matter, just so that you have a sense of the relationship between one end of the scale and the other. So we've been talking to you about the path of least resistance. That step 3, really, meditation really, feeling good really, is the path of least resistance. And what we mean by that is, as you look at that sliding scale, as you look at 22, which is fear, and you move up to insecurity, it's finely tuned, but there is a little less resistance. So it's the path of least resistance. Still resistance. And up to jealousy, a little less resistance. Still resistance. Let's move all the way up to 12. Disappointment. Still resistance, but less resistance. Get all the way up here to frustration. Still resistance, but less resistance. So when you get up there to boredom, no resistance. And that's when the path of most allowance starts. Now think about it. Because in the absence of resistance, there's nothing pulling at you. So now your inner being is really able to gather you up as one of the cooperative components. So the key is, stop doing that thing you do that made you in the resistant phase. Like Esther had a drawer, and every time she opened it, there was stuff in there that had belonged to Jerry. And she knew it was there, and when she really wanted to feel sorry for herself, she'd open that drawer. Worked every time. Finally, she thought, what is wrong with me? He doesn't need any of that stuff. Why am I focusing, why am I feeling my way into more resistance? Why not feel my way into less resistance? And so that's why meditation is such a good tool. When you quiet your mind, there's no resistance. And so we said to someone earlier that it's the consistency or the frequency of finding less resistance that matters, that deepens the connection. And so if you find yourself just feeling some satisfaction or contentment for a moment, just savor it and milk it, and don't think too hard about it, because you can think yourself right into the opposite direction if you're not careful. But once you get pretty good at just being there, just being right there, and we recommend finding new things that feel good to do. Find a new place to be that doesn't make you think about the old place. It's just now that Esther can go back and walk on the beach in Del Mar with gay abandon. For a long, long time, every time she went into more resistance. And now there's a tipping point, but you got to practice being in that place where it can tip and acknowledging that it did tip, and then going back to that place where it can tip and acknowledging that it did tip. And before you know it, you'll feel a little guilty about not feeling bad about someone that you loved making their transition. You know, I'm having such a good day. Oh, sorry, Jerry. I had good days with you too. Not this good, no. This good, really, this good. We're dramatizing it a little bit just because we want you to feel it when you get there. There are endless things to help you practice. Endless things.